Hey everybody, what's up? Goo Kill here. I'm actually quite a few videos behind. I wasn't able to get a video up last week about last Monday Night Raw or anything about SmackDown. And in that time, we've had a Raw, we've had a SmackDown, we've had a pay-per-view, we had WWE Fast Lane this past Sunday, and we just had Monday Night Raw pass us by. There's a lot to talk about. So let's not waste any time and let's get right into what happened at Fastlane. So we kick off the night with a six-man tag team. The disjointed six-person tag team of Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, and Eric Rowan, who has by far, the worst theme music in wrestling today. It is an absolute buzzkill absolutely every time that guy comes out. Facing off against the Authority team of Big Show, Kane, and Mr. Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins. Few things surprised me about this match. I didn't think it was a bad match, but a few things that surprised me about it. I was surprised to see Eric Rowan have as much time in the ring as he did. It's not because he's not good. It's not because he doesn't need the time, because I think obviously the only way you're going to get a guy over is if he has time in the ring. But the thing is that he was playing the role of, he's getting beat up. You're trying to feel sympathy for a guy that you really can't feel any sympathy for. I mean, if the fans aren't popping to your entrance, they don't really seem to care too much that you're there. I have a hard time seeing how, the flow of the match, it really kind of was a buzzkill when he's in there, because everybody is just focused on wanting to get either Ziggler or Ryback in there. Other things that surprised me, I was horridly surprised to see Ziggler take the pin from Kane. Of all people, we get the pinfall out. I understand that Kane and Big Show have their place on the roster. I understand that they still need to be made to look as credible threats if they're going to be used as muscle for the Authority. But I can't say enough that these guys just need a break away from TV, because we're not buying into them as major plotline characters. They're almost getting go away heat, X-Pac heat, or as it's referred to. I don't see why there would have been a problem with Rollins getting the pin over Ziggler, especially since they had that segment on Raw the week prior. But alas, that's how it was. And then we got to see the return of Randy Orton, which really there wasn't much other than just, he comes out, he RKOs a few people, he wants to get after Rollins, and then that's scene right there. Loved Rollins getting out of the building, showing the fear that he didn't want anything to do with Randy. I absolutely love that. But we'll talk about how that storyline continued after we get through this pay-per-view. So I don't really have things in order here. I do believe we had Goldust and Stardust in the next match. It was hard to get up for this match because just the feud had been so rushed. It was so poorly put together. I mean, the segment before did a really, really great job of, putting Goldust in the role of the reluctant brother, but I felt that didn't really come through in the match. I know I'm nitpicking, but I didn't really feel that there was any more of an aggressive side to Goldust. There were some little things that he was doing that made it seem like he really didn't want to do them, but at the same time, he had made a point before being, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to make sure that this ends tonight, and that didn't really translate through. And then what a weird finish. I don't know if that was a botch. I don't know what happened there, but something wasn't right, because it was really, really badly done if it was right. That ref either was supposed to make a 3 count, or Cody was supposed to get his shoulders up a half a second earlier, and the referee reacted to the fact that it was a late kick out and didn't want it to be obvious. I don't know, but it was bad. In the segment afterwards, Cody looks great beating up Goldust, but we're not really invested in either of these guys. They got to do something more the next 5 weeks if they're going to put up the heat to get them to a WrestleMania singles match. And when you think right now of people that don't have a place on the WrestleMania card, who probably are very deserving of it, it's going to take quite a bit of work. Tag team title match. Cannot stand that they have what's her face, Naomi, as part of the Usos now. It just feels like such a throwaway, just, hey, you know what, you're with this guy because you're in real life married and, you know, you are somebody on the roster, but I'm sorry, we don't really have a plan for you beyond being a Funkadactyl, so here, just go do this. It is bad, and it doesn't do her any favors either. She's not any more over with the crowd or with the audience, you know. It just feels like she's there because she's on Total Divas, and they have her on the roster, and they got to do something with her to make her, you know, wrestler. How that works. However, I do love Natalya being with Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, and I was more than happy to see this title change. I have nothing against the Usos. They've been a great team. They've been the stability of that division, but there needs to be some new blood, and I think that the match that these guys could potentially have at WrestleMania could tear the house down, because Kidd and Cesaro are great wrestlers in their own right. The Usos have had absolutely fantastic tag matches. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. I hope it doesn't get too corny with, you know, involving Naomi and Natalya. That dinner segment was bad, and I don't know why it got repeated, but I hope that they can just stick this to, you know, Kidd and Cesaro, 1, 2, 3, clean victory. They're a threat in this division. You know, they got to beat the Usos again, you know, to really solidify that spot, and that it's more about the tag titles and not about everything else that's around it. We have, after that, I believe we had the Triple H Sting confrontation. A little bit thrown off, but I have to admit, I kind of marked out a little bit of nostalgia seeing Triple H in his jean jacket or not jean jacket, I guess, leather jacket and jeans. I went back to 2002 for a second there with the jean jacket over top of the leather. But it was cool to see him, you know, in that kind of, you know, attitude, you know, saying like, this isn't about business. And, you know, H, very good on the mic, you know, very compelling. And I love the fact that they still managed to get through this without Sting saying a word. The less Sting says, the better. We don't need to necessarily know why he's around. He's an enigma. He's a cool, dark character. That's what he needs to stay as. This feud, in my opinion, it's the most well-built, well-delivered feud at WrestleMania. It is, in my eyes, the main event because of just everything that's surrounding it. It was absolutely great to see Sting with the bat. It was great to see H going full-blown heel and trying to, you know, attack him from behind and everything else, the way that worked. The one nitpick that I might make is that, you know, this is now twice that we've seen Sting hit the death drop on H, and we haven't really seen the other side of things. I might try and save the physical confrontations of it for the actual match itself, but that's such a small nitpick that it was awesome segment, great, well done, super impressed. I believe after this we had, I can't remember if it was the Divas match or the Intercontinental title match. I think it was the IC match, so we'll talk about that. Dean Ambrose and Bad News Barrett. The crowd still really seems to like Ambrose. I still like Ambrose. I still think that he's a cool character and he's a cool guy who just, you know, for whatever reason, they didn't want to put him over Bray, and we'll talk about that afterwards. But he just got caught in the wrong feud at the wrong time, you know, and, you know, you couldn't have Rollins lose. You couldn't have Wyatt lose. So he's been taking a lot of losses consecutively. But, you know, it was nice to see, you know, him getting a little bit of a rub here, going for a secondary title and going against Bad News Barrett, who's a guy who also has a lot of potential. You know, I thought this could be a nice show stealer of a match, and it wasn't a bad match, but definitely an incredibly weak finish. And I've never been a fan of people taking title belts. It doesn't do anything for me personally. You're still not the champion. You know, it's done as just, you know, it's almost a heelish thing to do, to just take a belt and just wear it around and taunt to the other person that you have it even though you're not the champion. So I wasn't really a fan of that. I thought it was kind of no-win booking because both these guys need wins so bad that you can't go one way or the other. So I guess, you know, mission accomplished. Both these guys are pretty much in the same place they were before. But again, you know, WWE seems to forget, you know, you got to put a guy over to actually get him over. You can't just do this 50-50 booking forever. I hope that if they do have a rematch for the Intercontinental title, that that we get a decisive finish. I get that neither guy can really afford to take a loss in terms of the fact they've either been off TV or losing consistently, but somebody's got to get over in this feud. That's my comment on that. Talk about the Divas match next, since I brought it up. What is there really to say? I mean, tonight there has been a lot of Twitter talk about hashtag give divas a chance, I believe is the trend going on right now. And, this just spoke volumes. And I think I was actually live tweeting about this, which is if you present the divas as non-important bathroom break type material, then that is exactly how you're going to feel about it. That's exactly how the fans are going to feel about it. And that's how this was treated. It was dead silent. The fans tend to get up a little bit for Paige, but other than that, it wasn't treated with any seriousness. It was over quick. I'm totally mistaking two different matches. It wasn't a tag match. It was a Divas title match. The tag match was worse, but as far as a Divas title match goes, I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same story over and over again. I mean, why don't the Bellas like Paige? Has that ever been explained? No, there's no storyline going into this. We still haven't figured out why the Bellas are on the same page yet. No pun intended. Why should we like Paige more now than we did when she was feuding with AJ? Has anything ever been explained? It hasn't, because they've been thrown away bad booked matches. I get that the idea was, heel gets the hand in the tights victory, but in about 3 minutes you can't do anything with that, and it was very blah. Nobody got up for it. I think it's an absolute waste of the talent, because there are women in that division who can wrestle. Nikki has gotten much better. Paige can go. Natalya is a phenomenal technical chain wrestler when she's actually given the opportunity to do those things. I'm sure some of the more athletic divas who maybe they were hired to be, glorified models, but I'm sure you give them the opportunity and, treat it with seriousness, they can go. I really wish the Divas division would be presented in a different way, a little bit of a more serious way, because the websites that I read, the reviewers I read, honestly, they make the same great point, which is, if I had a daughter who is watching the Divas division right now, what is there for her to look up to? Why would she want to be what they are now, where they're getting put in throwaway 30-second matches with nothing that really makes any sense, other than I'd love to look like them one day. There's nothing strong or empowering about the Divas division. It's, if anything, worse than it's ever been. We'll talk here about the Bray Wyatt Undertaker segment. I don't think, for me, being the smart fan, I knew there was no way that it was going to be Taker, but the crowd really got up for it. I thought that was really cool to see. There's still genuine interest and care and passion about The Undertaker, which makes this so perfect for Bray to sink his teeth into. Another great promo from him. I'd say just keep Taker off TV and just keep letting Bray do this and build the anticipation up and up and up and up to, is Taker even going to answer this challenge and do that? I think they're in a bit of a no-win situation, because I don't know how you could get Taker to lose again at WrestleMania, but I also don't think Bray can take this loss. Like I said that about his Cena feud, but he did get over that, and obviously WWE has to really like this guy if they've gone 2 WrestleManias with Cena and Taker for Bray. I think Bray needs this. I think Bray, I've said from the beginning that right when he came out, I thought that if he was booked properly, given the right stories to sink his teeth into, he could be another Undertaker type character, where he's almost a I don't want to say cartoon in a goofy way, but cartoon in a comic book way, comic book supervillain. He can be that. He can be that dark and grim character that has a bit of a fictional twist to him. So I'm all for this. The segment was great, and I love every time Bray Wyatt's on my television. We go right into Rusev and John Cena, and I guess what was the co-main event. Again, I thought this was a really great match. I think the thing that Cena does best, a lot in a similar way to what Hogan used to do back in the late 80s and early 90s that he could just draw emotion out of the crowd. And, Cena doesn't do anything that's particularly technically flashy. There wasn't any, there's nothing that, this wouldn't be rated a 5-star match. But at the same time, you're drawn to the TV. You buy into the near fall. Cena is so good with his facial expressions and just the way that the match is put together and the way that it flows. It was a very, very entertaining watch. I was more than surprised to see, I get that it wasn't a clean finish, but as far as heels go, that was pretty much as clean a finish as you can get. There's not shenanigans. There's not holding the tights or leverage against the ropes. There's not weapons in play or whatever it was. Lana did her part as, the manager, distracts the referee. Rusev gets in a cheap shot, and then he gets the, I guess you can't call it a submission victory because Cena didn't submit, but victory by pass out or referee stopping them out. It was shocking to see Cena put in like that. Again, I've always felt that Cena doesn't Rusev needs Cena more than Cena needs Rusev. Rusev does not need to have his first loss come to John Cena. If anything, Cena can just, be used to continually build this guy up and, get to the next level. I've always felt that John Cena's storylines are very rushed. They're very instant gratification, very, okay, Cena lost this one, but he's going to get his heat back right away. So I hope that this isn't just a stopgap for Cena getting the big America victory at WrestleMania. I hope that it can actually build up to more than that down the road. I'm not maybe as far as SummerSlam because that's a really long time to do a program for, but Rusev getting a win over Cena at WrestleMania could make that guy's career, whereas if Cena beats Rusev, we're talking that's not even that guy's top 5 WrestleMania moments. It's just something that's not needed, but hey, we're used to Cena booking, so if it happens, I won't be surprised. But so far, the feud has been a really nice surprise. Last but not least, we'll talk main event here, Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan. This is by far the best singles match that Roman Reigns has ever had. It's not Daniel Bryan's, but it's by far the best that Roman Reigns has ever had. He looked like he could go in the ring with a small, faster, better technical wrestler than Daniel Bryan. They had a great match. You could buy into the near falls. I do think that the right guy went over. I do think that this was the way to establish Reigns as this is the guy, getting a clean 1-2-3 win over Daniel Bryan, which I don't believe has happened for a very, very long time. It was very rare to see Daniel Bryan get clean pinned 1-2-3, no distractions, no anything else, just flat out beat in a match. Again, that's good booking. That's the way you get somebody over, is by having them go over another guy, not just the 50-50 booking of you win one, I win one, you win one, I win one. So I was happy to see that. I was happy to see the moment of Daniel giving him the props and the handshake and, saying, you go get him. You better beat him. If it's not me, then you got to go get this done. I love that. I know that the crowd isn't fully behind Roman. I know that they may never be fully behind Roman. It seems that they almost like to embrace that 50-50 split for some reason in WWE. Boo Cena, cheer Cena, but he's your guy no matter what. I do think that it was exactly what we needed to see out of Roman for us to just have that bigger hope that the WrestleMania main event can be great and that he can be the right guy to go over. I think that Brock's a completely different beast. Brock is not going to be able to put together a great match in the sense that there's not going to be a ebb and flow and a story going on. He's very much suplex, beat you up and go completely beast mode. And I'm not sure that Roman is going to be able to provide the other side of things. But hey, so far so good. You've kept your credibility of the Royal Rumble victor by having the Royal Rumble winner continue to go on for this one-on-one shot. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. But there isn't really too much to say about the main event other than it was a great match. I think the right guy went over, and I think that we got to see a glimpse of what Roman Reigns is actually capable of. He did bust out some new moves. He had some different stuff that was going on. You know, I can't say I'm ever going to be thrilled about the spear being a finisher just because it's been a finisher for so many other people. It doesn't feel new and fresh and unique, but at the same time, you know, the guy's got a great look. He's fast. He's awesome. Let's just take that for what it is. You know, yes, he is very, very early into his singles career and he's going on a push to the main event of WrestleMania. I get that that's going to cause some resentment from the smarter fans who feel that there's other guys who've been working for longer, the Ziglers, Ambroses, you know, who deserve that opportunity. But at the end of the day, try and sit back and treat it like a television program. Don't worry about all the backstage nonsense and all this talk about, you know, working your way up through the indies and all this other crap. Just face what is in front of you. Watch TV, enjoy what's there. Roman is on the right track. I'll cut this video short because we've talked for quite a bit just about Fast Lane. I'll get a video up soon about Monday Night Raw this past week and some of the interesting things that happened there. Some good, some bad, but we'll get to talking about it. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button below if you like hearing the commentary week after week about WWE. Make sure that you guys follow me on Twitter for live updates whenever we're watching Raw pay-per-views. Hopefully we got WWE Network coming soon to Western Canada through Shaw Cable Provider. Be able to give you guys some reviews on some of the programming that goes on there. Once again, thanks for the listen, guys, and I'll chat with you soon. Peace.